Hey guys, what's up? It's Erin here, the Petite Planner, and today you're watching my October 2019 Plan With Me video. If you've been on my channel a while, you may notice something a little bit different about my notebook. I've talked about it for a while, but I finally moved back to the Nuna, and so today I will be using these Tombow colors that you see on screen. People always ask, so I figured I would just include it on screen. And for my October theme, I went with this overall fall theme, but it's very heavy into like fall baking because I am obsessed with baking in the fall. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's a great bonding experience for my oldest and I, and teaching her how to bake has been It's challenging and it's hard, but it's also been very rewarding for both of us, and it's a lot of fun. So it's something that is very important in my life, and it was something that I knew would be fun to doodle as well. So I did go ahead and draw all this out ahead of time, not on camera, because there were so many elements to this, and trying to layer them all in here and make them all fit in a way that made sense to me and that I liked took a long time. I probably spent a good hour and a half just drawing this out in pencil, which I know seems crazy, but for me this was very relaxing, and I've been sick lately, so I've done a lot of just sitting around. So when I can just sit around and draw, it feels more productive than just laying on the couch and watching TV. So I did go ahead and draw all these ahead of time, and then I'm going over them in my small Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen. I used to not like these pens, unbelievably. I think I got a bad batch at one point, but now I get asked a lot what pens I like to use, and I love these pens. I feel like I've had the exact same set for probably a year and a half, and I use them on a daily basis, and I just the other day finally had to throw away a small one because it was running out of ink, but I'd probably had the pen for like a year, so for the price you pay, they are great pens. Then I went through with my extra small pen and I added some fine details, so just like some little lines and dots to give some things a different texture. And then I did add a mini calendar right on the bowl of the stand mixer, which I just thought was kind of cute. It doesn't really serve any purpose, honestly, but I like the look of it and it just fit perfectly. And getting back into the Nuna with these very small squares is nice and refreshing because I can make little elements and include a lot more on a single page. So I want to talk about one thing that I am not happy with this cover page, with this spread in general, is my color palette that I chose. So I did put them on screen in case you end up liking them. It's not that I don't think the colors work well together. I just don't think that I use them in a great way. I didn't love the turnout and the end result of all of this. And I haven't said that a lot here recently. I feel like a lot of my spreads have been like, this is one of my favorites, but October has not been, and part of that is the notebook itself. I love the size of the Nuna. I love the smaller dot grid in the Nuna. I love the cover designs of the Nuna. I do not love Nuna's newer paper. Here in recent years, they switched, and I had wrote them about it, and they mentioned it has something to do with laws over where these are made. I believe they're German, right? And so they can't use certain coatings on the paper, and that makes even like Tombow markers and water-based markers bleed through them. So I don't know exactly what changed, but ever since a couple of years ago, my Tombows bleed through, and I could tell when I was coloring this cover page in, the way that the ink was seeping in super fast that it was going to show through the other side. And after coming from the tool with the super heavy paper that nothing bled through, it was a little bit discouraging, but I'll get over it. Bleeding has never really bothered me that bad, and so I'll just roll with it. The other thing that I wasn't really expecting was just how big of a difference it was to move from that tool into this Nuna. The tool that I was using, not the actual notebook, I guess, but the paper I was using in it had an even larger dot grid than the standard 5mm. I don't know why. I ordered it from an Etsy shop and I thought that the listing said 5mm, but it's definitely quite a bit bigger. So moving from something that big to something this small it's a big change. So it was a lot to get used to. And so I went with this calendar that is kind of a vertical style, and I honestly, I didn't end up loving this either. It's going to work, but it's not my favorite. So I created these boxes that are a little bit longer than they are wide, and then along the bottom of each day I have a very little line, and I don't quite know how I want to use it yet. Initially, I thought that maybe I would use it for planning out dinners. I know for me, when I plan out my dinners in advance for the entire week, that I'm less likely to order food or take my family out to eat. And that is something that I've struggled with ever since we've moved out of Wyoming, where there was like no places to go out and eat, to a place where there are plenty of delicious options. I find that we spend a lot of money eating out, and it's not good for my bank account, and it's not good for my health. So I've been trying to cook more at home, but I'm not a huge fan of cooking. But if I plan it out in advance, I'm a lot better about it. But I also might use it for workouts. I haven't quite decided yet. And then the tan colored vertical line you see along the left-hand side, I didn't end up writing in what I was going to write there right away, but those are just the weekly labels. So over here on my habit tracker page that I'm creating right now, I also have a place for my goals and then weekly check-in. So I try to check in with myself according to my goals every single week, so weeks 1 through 5. And so you'll see those labels put on that tan column over there, weeks 1 through 5, and those will correspond to my check-ins with my goals. So for my habit tracker, I did just a very simple horizontal tracker this month, and then I sectioned it off into the different things that I'm kind of tracking. So the top one is health, the middle one is business, and the bottom one is like personal and relationships. And so those colors correspond with the different categories. And then I've also labeled my 3 big goals for the month with those colors. So that pink and the kind of yellowy tan color and the green. And my top 3 goals will each correspond with the category in the habit tracker, if that makes sense. So the habits that I'm tracking this month are workout, yoga, tracking calories, writing 500 words, Facebook post, Instagram post, and publishing a video. And then my personal habits are going to be to read daily, do Duolingo, and intimacy. And I've tracked a couple of these month in and month out for what seems like forever. And I do change up my habits every month, just a little bit. Some of them change just based on what my goals are for that month or at that time. So right now, I know that I slack a lot in the social media department. I'm a very social person, but here lately, I'm trying to move away from my phone and being on social media. And in turn, like, it's made me where I don't want to even be posting things on my business side, and I need to be doing that because it's important. So I've added those to my habit tracker for this month. So on this page, this is going to be my gratitude log, and I just went about it in creating kind of a grid format with 31 different boxes here. And then before I created the boxes, what I did was I took my pencil and I drew out where some of the intersections would be in those boxes, as I have a 1 block gap between them. And then I created little doodles so they kind of overlap the boxes. And the doodles just correspond with my monthly theme. So I did a hand mixer, a mixing bowl, a latte, and then an acorn with some leaves. And for the past couple months, I've just had this gratitude log kind of style thing where I don't have a specific format, like it's not one line or a paragraph or a doodle. I just kind of go with whatever I feel that day. So I like the idea of these boxes because while they're small, they also give me enough room to, write a couple words that I'm grateful for or create a small doodle that goes with what I'm grateful for. I do also keep a separate gratitude journal. This is great for my mornings when I wake up and I'm filling in my journal and just kind of going over what I have to do for the day, and I can just quickly jot down what I'm grateful for that day. But then in the evening, I like to reflect back on 3 things that went really well in my day and what I'm grateful for, and it helps me sleep better at night. I know that might sound really cliche, but it's really true. When I can lay down with a clear mind at night, knowing that it was a good day and good things happened, I can just fall asleep and sleep a lot sounder throughout the night. So I did add a dark shadow to this because it just felt really plain, and I told you that I wasn't overly enthused with this spread. So by the time I was here, I was just like, please come together. Like, I just want to like this. And the dark shadow around it, that drop shadow, I really did end up liking. And that's one page, my gratitude log. I'm like, oh, I really like this page. And every once in a while, it just happens, and I'll roll with it. And usually as I fill things in, I just get more comfortable and it just becomes a part of my life, and I'll end up liking it half a month in. So then for my journal pages, I just wrote journal at the top, and then I just did a bottom border just to kind of signify that those both are my journal pages and that's what I'll be using them for. And I will probably leave the page to the right here also blank, and then if I need it mid-month or 3/4 of the way through the month, I can use it. That wraps up my October plan with me. I hope you liked it. I hope that you found something inspirational or informative about this video. And if you did, please leave me a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.